So you've booted up Tribes of Midgard as it's free with PlayStation Plus, and you've quickly realised, damn, this Viking game is pretty tough. Here are the 5 most important tips you need to know. You're not going to be completing a saga mode on your own in the first good few tries that you go for. In fact, you're probably going to need some decent classes and more unlocks. So play the challenges and achievements rather than the game. That is to say, take a look at what you need to do to unlock brand new starter kits or some of them classes and focus on them first. Like sure, some of the classes are designed for you not to unlock until you get more experience and you get used to how things play out, but there's a few here that are super easy to get. The Guardian might sound pretty scary in your first few tries, but you can go and defeat 3 of the Jotnar in a single session. You just got to concentrate on that. Go ahead and find the Jotnar as early as possible, whittle the health down and absolutely keep upgrading your weapons and armour as much as possible to make that short work. Like sure, play the game how it's meant to be played, but anytime them Jotnar appear, go for it and take them out and earn the Guardian glass. The Seer is a good example why you shouldn't just let things play out and hope that you start unlocking some of these. You do actively need to exit 10 worlds and that's going to take a bit of time. So if things are turning south, even if you're playing co-op with others, don't be too scared to just run and exit through the Bifrost. Or if time's a bit short and you've got to go and do something, make sure you exit to unlock that Seer. There's 50 levels in the rewards track. It's going to take you months to get all the way to the end unless you're a hardcore gamer, i.e. the seasons are meant to last that long. So instead focus on some of the stuff that unlocks more runes as well as starter kits. Just by crafting a rare or uncommon or epic item, you get access to either new runes, weapons or again them starter kits. So that's the thing that you should focus on while playing. At least the first 5 or 6 times. Again, some of the other unlocks are going to be a little bit more harder to get hold of, but certainly the quicker you get access to more starter kits and extra runes that go in the pool, the easier you're going to find the game. It's easy for that Viking bloodlust to overtake you and get caught up trying to stop a giant or take on a bunch of mobs to get some extra sweet loot. But for crying out loud, please run away Vikings. Take them souls. Even small amounts like 150 can be absolutely crucial in repairing some of your weapons or contributing to an upgrade for getting better armour and gear. If there's absolutely any doubt in your mind that you may come a cropper facing off against a more powerful giant or you're exploring somewhere a bit more dangerous, then go ahead and spend them souls absolutely anywhere, just don't go ahead and lose them. With most of the first upgrades costing 250 to get your NPCs improved or 500 or 600 souls to improve farms, you're better off just dumping whatever you've got in one of them than losing it. If souls are a real issue finding, then go and take on one of the Jotnar a bit earlier. You get a huge amount for defeating these guys, and that can be the massive difference between getting a whole bunch of upgrades to finally get better gear or helping to reinforce your settlement. So always keep your eye on that health, and if you have to, book out there with the teleport stone and save your souls. Farming is probably the most important feature of the game, especially when playing solo. You absolutely need to get some of your farms up and running by day 3 if possible, day 4 absolute latest. Wood is the easiest resource to go and find yourself. It's iron ore and cut stone eventually, that's going to become the problem. So in my opinion, the stone quarry should always be the first thing that you rebuild. You can get a start pack that will give you a good boost into going towards that, pretty much nearly all the resources bar a couple of extra wooden boards. But do remember you need to upgrade the Tinkerer to level 3 to make and craft cut stone, the wooden planks and the raw iron. You do also need to rebuild the shipyard eventually, but that's still not a concern until you get the lumberyard and the quarry up first. Also remember to check your war chest. When you get deliveries, it doesn't always transport obviously into your actual inventory. So you need to go and manually put the stuff that you might need, and it could be the difference between upgrading or getting a farm quicker. Also take the time to destroy enforcements like these that separate some of the biomes, as you often get some of the refined pieces smashing these down too. If you've killed the first giant, you should have plenty of souls to go ahead and do both of these. And don't wait until you've got all the resources, pump and dump just in case you lose them souls. It should always be the quarry, then the lumberyard, then make the choice between either getting the hunting lodge, which I don't think is as necessary as you often get plenty of hide and some of the other stuff via killing lots of creatures. I don't know why I keep calling it a hunting lodge because it's clearly labelled a farm. But you get the idea. I reckon you should focus on either more defences after this or go ahead and get that shipyard done. But honestly, if you don't start any of this by day 4, you might as well forget about it and just aim for, again, more achievements or some progress towards another unlock. You need so much cut wood, so much of the cut stone and the wrought iron to also do some of the other parts like the Fenrir saga. You really do need to get these up and running as soon as possible. Captain Obvious tip going forward here, make sure you're choosing the right type of weapon and armour. There are a million resources to gather in Tribes of Midgard. You're not meant to be able to craft everything in one session, so focus in on something that you like the sound of. Some of the easiest weapons to get are void based weapons or poison, depending on what you want to call it. And you notice that some of the resources for these, they don't look too complicated. Obviously as you progress and start unlocking more, they're going to get more and more involved. So pay real attention to what the resources are. Look in the journal at the start of the menu or in game if you've got a few seconds and focus in on that resource. Almost ignore every other biome going. If you need silver, then you need to head to the desert and absolutely go mad for the silver and the garnets. There's no point harvesting a bunch of stone or wood on the way or going around to another biome and getting a bunch of seaweed from the ash beach if something you need to craft the weapon you want to try is here. I know that again sounds obvious, but it's because everything is quite overwhelming. There are so many different types of armors and weapons that give you all sorts of buffs and bonuses, and if you're not really concentrating, you can end up basically having a bunch of resources but not enough of either to really get a decent weapon or armor set. And don't forget to also upgrade your NPCs if you do want to unlock some of their weapons once you get the resources. And you also do need to have the earlier versions of some of their weapons before you can craft the more advanced ones. So really pay attention, don't be too panicked or rushed, and also drop off any broken weapons inside your chest, or go ahead and make sure that you repair some of the best ones rather than crafting some again. Although sometimes if you've got an abundance of resources, it's actually better to craft a new weapon than waste souls on repairs. It all just depends on what stage of the game you're at. And once you've got a decent weapon and enough resources, do go and put the rest in the community chest if you're playing with others and let them have the chance to craft some. If you can communicate and tell them you're specifically going to go and get them some pretty decent lightning gear, then that helps a lot with certain giants and they know they can concentrate on other stuff. You're going to get really experienced in knowing when to quit. Basically, the hellthings are at the door, the Jotun are about to approach, and the nights are getting so cold that you can't feel your fingers or your toes. In the early stages, especially if you've managed to earn a bunch of golden horns, be safe, don't risk it for the biscuit and get the hell out of there. If one of the Jotun has managed to break through your village and it hasn't got less than 20% health, even in solo or multiplayer, you're not going to make it. So run for the Bifrost before it's too late. Once that giant starts wailing, it's only a matter of seconds before it will destroy the tree of life and it's game over. You've really got time when you're going to take on the Saga boss as well as do other kind of missions. And if by day 10 you're nowhere close to activating the portals or finding your Munda's actual beacons, then yeah, you might as well get out of there before the hellthings come destroy your base. The Bifrost is the way that you exit the game. You obviously keep all your XP no matter what, even if the tree dies, but you only get to keep your horns if you leave the Bifrost. Now if you've only managed to earn one horn by killing a giant or getting lucky and getting one from a mob, it might not seem that big a deal, but that one horn could give you a rune in your next go for absolute almost free, and obviously you're going to need the runes eventually to craft some of that end game gear. So you really do need to treat them as special and holy as them souls. Make sure you escape with them and use them wisely. Don't spend them all on runes as soon as you get in a match unless you've got an abundance. Save some of them and hopefully be able to get some more, unlock new weapons and armors later on. It's always disappointing when you have to admit defeat, but it's better to do so than go dying in a blaze of glory and end up with nothing. As you play the game, you'll recognise more and more when it's time to go, or when maybe you can be a last minute hero. But for sure, always try and save the horns wherever possible. And there you go, that is my top 5 tips for Tribes of Midgard. If they've helped you out, leave a like. Check out the rest of my guides. My name's been Jade, and I'll see you ratbags later.